So, good evening, dear all. I am Patrizio, and I'm a painting master student from the Academy of Rome, and I've been invited to talk about my experience in the EU4ART project, that invitation to which I happily obliged since it was amazing. And I don't see my presentation, but maybe I'll figure out. They are figuring out. Yes, the experience was amazing, so amazing even that after one semester, I decided to apply for another one. I would like to start to talk about like the point of the experience that are more related directly with education, in particular, of course, art education. This is a picture I took at the end of my second semester in Riga, and these are my studio mates. I choose this picture to represent the access that we had to different space and art education models during my experience, of course, given by different tradition of approaching art education, to say like that. And for me, it was this like a big part of the experience, just understanding that in different places they do differently approaches, not necessarily better or worse, just different, and this gives the idea that can be a place and a space and a time for everybody, just you have to find it. Another, of course, great thing is the workshops that I got to take part of, and I think workshops actually from my experience and experiencing a bit of all the academies actually are one of the most functional tools for students. And this involves also, for example, educational trips that we had also specifically for EU4ART students around Latvia, for example, or some other activities that were included in the LMI education. Like I do remember some workshops during Elina Zunda's classes with teachers from Lithuania or different teachers from the academy showing us different methods and way to make art that really enriched me as an artist. And I think one of the strongest point of this project is the having direct relationships with people without those formal walls that are given, of course, to us by the role we are invested in when we are taking part in an education system. And I noticed that in this project, it was easier for me to approach people that I would even think they were not approachable, just because there was a really genuine and honest interest from everybody to make this project work. Because to be honest, for me as a young person and as a young artist, I always wanted this kind of mobility and an open system for us as European people, but just as people as well. And this allowed me to approach indeed the Latvian art scene quite deeply, I would say, the institutional one, but also the underground one, that also changed the idea I have of what art should be, or to better say, can be, and even aesthetically. This was fundamental for me, and in the same time, I would like to take this occasion to thank everybody who made this project easier and more, because of course, during 1 year abroad, you're gonna meet some problems and some difficulties, but everybody was always so responsive and caring, from the coordinator projects to the administration, to the teachers, the other students, and to the rectors, of course. And because of this EU4ART project, we were also given many opportunities to show our work, as Virginia already mentioned. I think about the Colleoni events, I think about the pilot space in Riga, the Transcending Dresden show that I was not part of, but I was able to visit, and I think it was beautiful. And of course also this opportunity here in Budapest that give us the opportunity indeed to show me and my colleagues, our production in such a distinguished frame. And because as an art student, I can say from my experience that find a way to show your art production, it's always a big struggle. I would like to also talk a bit about the short-term mobilities, because I think these are one of the strongest tools of the project. And because they have been, at least for me, fundamental to build a network of people I know. And not only as an experience itself, but for me it was also very important to prepare the ground to then take place to my long mobility. That's why I decided to include this screenshot from a review that my friend Roberts gave to the workshop we had in Siena. That was really a special week, I would say. We had this was our visit in the Duomo. It was really educational, of course, in the beautiful frame of Tuscany, but still, indeed, there was not that formality that is usually often present in art events, and allowed us to make really some friendships, or also think about the workshop in Gereswalde that I took part of, and thanks to what I did, many friends in Germany. And, but particularly the Siena one for me was fundamental, because I met some people, Latvians, but that then during my experience, I think especially about my sisterly friend Zelde, when she knew that I would apply to go to Riga, she invited me to go live with her and their Latvian roommates. So for me, having the possibility to having this daily life with locals completely changed my experience in a better way. I got the chance to live like Latvian somehow for like 1 year. And that's why in my next slide, I decided just to talk about the human experience. These are some pictures from Janis, the midsummer. And here we were dyeing eggs for Easter. These like experiences were for me, they changed me as a human being and as an artist as well, but mostly as a human being. That was actually what I was looking for also in this experience, because for me, of course, this was completely new experiences, completely new. But then experiencing them, I did realize that they were, of course, new, but also they were not so distant from me. Like, for example, the Janis is not that hour different from our 15th of August celebration. And this made me realize once again something that we all know, but it should always be reminded, I think, that when we feel like something is so distant that even could feel a bit alien, probably it's way closer to us than we think. And so, yeah, I stated there that I had a unique experience of diving into the Latvian culture, costumes, food, language. I don't mean that I will be able to have a conversation in Latvian, but I'm even proud of that little bit that I got even just to buy food, because I do believe that language and food are two of the most powerful tools when trying to understand another culture. And so yeah, I state that I live a place that actually I've been into until 2 weeks ago, that I can call home, and people who I can call family. And I really honestly feel that, and I'm so thankful for that. So basically, to sum up, I thank everybody involved in the project to give me this experience, that I was really thankful and great to be part of the crew of this rocket. And I really hope that other young students will be able to have the same experience across Europe, and maybe me as well, again, as maybe a postgraduate or a doctoral or something like that. And so yeah, this was my experience. I thank you all for the attention, and wish you a good evening.